And welcome to Strathearn Community League. My name's Kelly Green, and this is Podcast Potluck, or also known as Potluck Podcast.
Yeah. Excellent potluck, by the way.
So this is the inaugural, the premiere issue of Potluck Podcast Potluck here at Strathearn Hall. It was just cooked up about a month ago, so my great thanks to everybody that's come out tonight, all the wonderful food. Give you guys a hand out there. And I want to thank hall organizers and volunteers, Pam and Andrew, for helping out get this off the ground and inviting me to host it this evening. And we also have a special guest here tonight, an honoree, former Strathearn Community League President, Jim. Thanks for coming out, Jim. And you can't see, of course, because the cameras are all facing forward, but you can hear them. We got some youth from the community joining us tonight. We are all very excited. So this is an experimental podcast. We've got some canned stuff, so we've got some pre-recorded stuff that we're going to share with you all. We've got some stuff happening up on the stage, and a couple of guests that are going to come up and share some hopefully interesting stories from their own life. It's not a fully formed idea that we have going on here right now. It's a work in progress. What I envision happening is that it sort of melds into a type of variety show. So the standard talk show format where someone entertaining and funny, they come out and they do a monologue, and then there's going to be guests and maybe a musical number or some previews of things that are happening in the community, entertainment, these kind of things. So this is kind of the vision for the future. We'll see if that ever comes to be. Maybe an elevated stage would be cool as well. I hear some murmuring out in the crowd. Are we doing okay on the Facebook Live? Excellent. Well, it's really exciting. I've never done actually a live podcast on the internet. I've made a lot of podcasts and put them on the internet, but not done one live, let alone done one live with an audience to boot. So thank you again for coming out. This is fantastic. So part of the theme for tonight, the podcast Potluck, is to explore community and share food. So it's always been an excellent way to bring people together. We all need to eat a couple, 3 times a day, at least once anyways. And coming together around food, it's just great. We can leave the politics at home. We can leave all the divisive things that might keep us apart in our everyday lives. But when we come together around food, we can just enjoy each other's company and have a good time and really get to know each other.
Which we did today.
So that is super, super exciting. So we're live on the Facebook on Strathearn. Hi guys, I see you out there. Thanks for tuning in. We have one viewer. That's fantastic. And they're in the hall, so this is great. So we're it's like video feedback. It's kind of fun. Did you want to join us on the show here real quickly and tell us what you have happening? Yep. Yeah, you can come up if you like. Okay, well, just squeeze your chair over because it's TV, so we got to sit uncomfortably close to each other.
I didn't get my makeup artist to work on me first, though.
That's all right. You look really good.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Tell us your name.
My name's Jason.
Jason, thanks for coming to Podcast Potluck. What did you bring?
I brought some green onion cakes tonight.
Apparently the green onion cakes are a huge hit. How long have you been a Strathearn member?
I've been here for 4 years now.
And what's your favorite part about the Strathearn Community League?
I just think everyone's very friendly, and I enjoy living in the neighborhood. It's such a great area. It's easy to access downtown, White Ave. It's just a really good central place in town.
Nice. And what kind of a project? Do you have anything happening at the hall coming up that you're interested to attend, or you want to let people know on the Facebook?
Well, next Friday on the 11th, we're having a film gala. Last month, we had hired a filmographer to run a seminar here. And so all the participants will be presenting their films. So I also will have a film that will be shown at the gala next Friday.
Nice. Is it finished yet, or are you still working on it?
I'm still working on it. It's in the editing phases right now.
In the editing phase?
Yeah.
I wish I'd known. I would have asked you to bring a clip to share with us live on the show, but work in progress.
Yeah.
You folks, of course, in the community, you should come out next Friday. Friday, did you say?
Yes, next Friday.
Okay, I think I should also be there because I was in the workshop and I kind of committed to making a film. We'll see if that comes together. I may have gotten a little bit busy trying to put this event together. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe it'll be something about the podcast Potluck we can share next week. Mm-hmm. Thank you for coming on the show impromptu and for helping set up the Facebook Live. I really appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Thanks. And that's how it works. It's just super easy to be on a podcast. How many of you all have your own podcast? I think that there's one. Oh no, it's wah. No podcasts out in the audience. That's all right. It's super easy to do. You don't have to be complicated with all these fancy lights and microphones and different things. I've actually got 2 microphones, one for the hall and one for the computer, and then we've got this recording and that recording, and we've got a lot of different moving pieces going on. I see that Pam is very anxious to come on up and share some events that are... Please, come join us. Excellent. So, Pam, thank you for joining the podcast Potluck. You were going to share some events with us. I'll give you the mic and then I'll scroll through so we have some
Sounds good.
visuals.
Thanks, Kelly. This is my first podcast, everyone. Anxiety. Okay, so in addition to the Film Fest that Jason already told you all about, I just wanted to run through a little list of events we have coming up. I'll try to do chronological order here. So after the Film Fest, which is on the 11th, Friday, on April 13th, we have The Right Time. Also, May 11th, this is a series that goes approximately monthly, and it's a writer's circle here at the Hall on Sunday afternoons from 2 to 4. So that's April 13th and May 11th. And then we have a fun one coming up on April 17th, which is a Thursday night. It's a special, it's not on your list, it's a surprise. This one is gonna be a sing-along, Jesus Christ Superstar. So all my karaoke people out there, please join. And it's a special presentation of our very own rock and roll book club here at Strathearn. So sing along Jesus Christ Superstar on the 17th. Then on the 18th, we have a really huge event here. It's a membership drive concert. It's doors at 7, band at 8:30. That's Good Friday, April 18th, and it's featuring Jody Shenkarek and Hotkin Lin. Did I pronounce that right, Andrew? There you go. Okay. And the deal with that concert is everyone's welcome to come. It's free if you already have a Strathearn Community League membership, and it's $10 if you don't, but it's also $10 to buy a Strathearn Community League membership at the door. So that's what you should do.
Darn cheap. That's
Yeah.
cheap like words.
Cheap. Okay, so hope to see lots of you at that concert. And then on May the 3rd is a big, I think it's our 3rd or 4th annual clothing swap. Clothing and plants this year. So we're going to do both clothing and plants, and essentially you just bring your clothing or plants that you don't want anymore and you pick up new ones that you do want. It's as simple as that. That's May the 3rd, a Saturday.
May the 3rd.
Yeah. And 11 to 3. All are welcome. We even have some kids from the neighborhood who are young entrepreneurs who are setting up their very own lemonade stand at the hall that day.
Playground cleanup that day.
Also, a playground cleanup will coincide with the event. So.
Cool.
And next up, May 8th, that's a Thursday, is our Rock and Roll Book Club that we talked about a minute ago. So this is our regular meeting of Rock and Roll Book Club. We have 3 books that we'll be discussing. One is about Bob Dylan, one is by Nick Cave, and one is a fictional book called Master of Reality, which is about Black Sabbath. Yeah. Then just wanted to feature another down the road kind of event, but coming up on Saturday, June the 7th, it's a big one called Leagues on the Line. And Leagues on the Line is a collaboration between a bunch of different community leagues that are situated close to the Valley Line LRT station, or LRT stations. So we started this last year. Last year we went from, I think it was Avonmore in the south and we hit up Bonnie Doon and Idlewild, Holyrood, Strathearn, and then the Mootart stop. This year we're expanding and we're going to Quarters in the north, and we're going all the way south to Millwoods. So a lot of the stops along the valley line will have their own different activities. Strathearn will have like music, bouncy castle, food, and it's all free and it's all, you know, family fun that day. It's in partnership with Edmonton Transit Services, and they've allowed us actually to do some fun things like have musicians on the train that day playing. So we're doing that, and everybody will congregate at Strathearn after the events of the afternoon. Everybody come back here at about 3 o'clock, and we'll do a concert out on the back deck. So
is there a volunteer list? Like, do you need
I need
volunteers?
you. The question from the floor was, are there volunteer applications accepted? Yes. Please email events@strathearncl.org
That's a wicked
or talk to me. So please, mark that in your calendar, June 7th. And yeah, so you see we've got a lot going on. We've done some stuff in the past few months, like hay rides and hot chocolate with the horses. We do a lot of karaoke nights, a lot of trivia nights. Those are popular. A lot of pub nights with the table tennis. So please follow our social media channels and look at your Southeast Voice newspaper and add your name to our email list, and then you will know about all these events. Thanks, Kelly.
You're welcome. Thanks, Kelly. Thank you, Pam.
Hey.
I'm going to give you this clipboard and a pen, and you all can, if you want, you can write down the email address on there to add your name, get on the email list, find out about these events, or just write down your email and name, and Pam can make sure that gets on the list for that. Okay, so we're going to mix it up a little bit. Where it is, pardon me, be patient. Oh my goodness, here we go. That is what I was looking for. Now this was supposed to all run very, very smooth without much interruption or weirdness, but it is what it is. This is a little piece of music just as an interlude while I collect my thoughts for the next piece. Well, I'm glad you asked. The Tone Deaf Pig Dogs, this was a project of James Warbington. Okay. You all remember Big James? Yeah. And I use this song for my podcast, which is here somewhere. Yes, Confessions of a Gen Xtivist, True Crime Stories. So this is what sort of launched my podcasting last fall. I did a 10-part piece, and you could find that on my YouTube channel, which is kind of interesting. But we talked about James, and this brings us into our next segment. This was a pre-record. I had hoped, and this is something maybe we can do in the future, is we have people that can join this live podcast live remotely. So that was the idea, is that James would join us remotely for this live bit, but we pre-recorded it. That being said, we're going to pretend that it's live. We could all do that. So here we are. This is James the other day on the community of Strathearn.
Where's James?
James is in the Lower Mainland, so he's in Mission, I believe, someplace just outside of Vancouver. Welcome to the show, James. It's so great to have you on the inaugural issue of podcast Potluck. We are streaming live from Strathearn Hall in your old neighborhood. How are you doing, James?
I'm doing great, man. It's good to talk to you. It's good to see you and this thing actually work. I know we've tried it before, so, and I do miss Strathearn because it was I think I told Camille the best way to put it was there's neighbors and then there's family, and I think Strathearn's more like family because here all I have is neighbors.
Oh, that's very nice of
That
you
makes
to
sense. Not to discredit anybody who lives here. I'm just trying to say they're not on the same level as we used to be in Strathearn.
I get that. I get that. And I said that we're coming live from the hall, but it's a little bit of a cheat. I'm live, so shout out to my future self tomorrow. And James, thanks for joining me today for the pre-record, just in case there was going to be any glitches on the live scene. But it's very, very good to have you on the show here. We've got a wonderful potluck supper. A lot of people brought a lot of excellent food here. And that's something that brought you and I together when I first moved into Strathearn Apartments. You were gracious enough to, we were just bringing our boxes into the house on the very first day, and you invited us to a nice cookout. So tell me a little bit about some of the things that you do to get engaged in your communities when you're new.
Well, for me, there's like I have really, really bad social anxiety. So, and there's like two characters I play, and one of them is the guy who stays inside, who has an upset stomach, does not want to do anything. Like I had to go get my driver's license last week. And we're talking like stomach upset, didn't know what to do, freaking out, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Then there's the other side of me that's like, there's a switch that flips, and I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? So I used to go around and just see somebody and talk to them. Even here, I'm friends with a lot of people at different places. It's not the same kind of relationship I had in Edmonton because people like Ralph's, I mean, those guys were awesome. You, Chris, next door, Vicky, and you remember I used to say it was my girlfriend. It was there was the family that lived with the elderly African American lady, and she couldn't speak English, and I used to like blow her kisses and stuff. And it's like I just did it because I thought it was funny, because I was trying to get attention, to be honest, and so I was doing that, just joking around, but. I think when it came to the cookout thing, I think that's the best way to do anything. Is you can't get mad at somebody for their politics if they eating something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we're gonna sit down and have us something to eat now. You can't be mad at me for that, because if you don't like the mashed potatoes, that's because we didn't cook them right or whatever. You can't be mad at me because I voted this way or that way or any of that crap. So I think food brings everybody together. I think a lot of people think that too.
And that's what we were thinking with this event too, to bring people together and help build community, help get to know some of the different neighbors. There's no particular political angle on what we're doing here, despite the fact that some of you may know that my other work online, doing podcasts and things, has veered into the political sphere off and on. But what we're talking about food, we're talking about getting to know the neighbors. How's things? It's been a while. Like you've been gone for what, a couple of years now from Edmonton?
About 3 years, yeah.
Wow, time really flies.
Yeah.
And you were living in Strathearn for how long?
2017 to 2021. But prior to that, we lived on White Avenue. But White Avenue was, we lived right off of White Avenue, and it was awful. Because we were a go-between between the recycling center there off of Calgary Trail. I think it's 104 right there. It's not really Calgary Trail, but it's the same road. But we were a go-between, so you'd wake up in the morning, people would break out windows and stuff. When we moved to Strathearn, it kind of looked sketchy. But when you get there, you realize it's not sketchy. It's fine. Everybody's cool. It's not White Avenue, because White Avenue was like totally sketchy at times.
Well, it might be veering into a little bit of the sketch since we got the train running.
Yeah.
There is a little bit more foot traffic coming into the neighborhood. The alley that separates our place from the hall here has 3 new street lights installed in the alley. So it's well lit up. That little parking lot out back has got some nice light out there now to help protect our vehicles from thieves, which is kind of nice. And every day when going out to the compost, I'm reminded of you, because I know that way back when this community garden was just getting going, you played a big part in getting those boxes all put together. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
I just had some equipment, and I knew there was a lot of elderly. Actually, there was a couple of elderly ladies who we joked around a lot, and they were saying they're thinking they were going to have trouble putting them together. And I thought, well, I'm able-bodied, and they're good people, and they used to bring me food all the time. It was a lady lived right across from me, I guess across the street from you too, right over there where the office is, but. I forgot their names, unfortunately. I'm sorry. But a lot of those people, if I saw them, I'd recognize them and that kind of thing. But I went over there and started helping. And I think Andrew was there. Andrew's somebody who bops around the he bops around. He doesn't really live there, but he's part of Strathearn. He doesn't live in the Strathearn Heights where we live, but he lives in that area. So he's over there, and we built those boxes. We used
So
to
I'm pretty sure, sorry to interrupt you, I'm pretty sure Andrew is with us here tonight. Do you want to say a quick hello?
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, hey Andrew. Hey James. Andrew's awesome. He's a cool dude. He's always been nice to me. So
And we have Pam in the house. She's been, I don't know if you ever met Pam, she's been doing excellent work organizing a lot of the special events over here at Strathearn Hall. It's been back to back. There's trivia nights, there's pub nights. They run a daycare out of here all the time.
Why weren't they doing that when I was there? We could have done something. Now I'm over here, and the only thing they have here is nothing.
So a lot of people in the community here know you for just your outgoing nature and getting involved in community events. We've done
Giving them moonshine. Oh, sorry.
What a lot of people maybe aren't familiar with is that you're actually quite a talented, multi-diverse artist as well. We played a little bit of your music here just starting off the show, a little bit of punk rock from way back in several lives ago. And I've got a couple of clips set up to share from a couple of films that are my favorites of yours, one of them being El Gorda, and the other...
Yeah, the Gorda, fat girl. Which was an ongoing joke, which was funny. The guy is in that movie, just to say something really quick, the guy who plays Amigo in the movie, his name's Don Cano. He was in a movie called The Baytown Outlaws with it was a very well known movie. It had like Billy Bob Thornton in it and a bunch of people. It was a pretty funny movie. He's Latino. He doesn't speak Spanish. He learned Spanish for the movie. And I'm like, we're a low budget movie. Why would you do that? We could just overdub you. It's not a big deal. But he learned Spanish.
That's quite impressive. Who I was really impressed with in that film, who also shows up in the other film, what is it, Black Death? Do I get that name right?
Black Earth.
There's a few people that show up in each of those movies, but the one actor that I wanted to highlight and just make a comment about is the gentleman that we're going to see in El Gorda.
Probably Jeffrey.
Who gets shot, the guy with the black hat. He gets shot and he says something. We'll show the clip. Just hang on.
Okay.
Listen, Lamb Chop, I was going to save you for dessert, but if you want to go ahead and do this now.
Reed! I always hated you!
Say, you are a very good shot, mi amigo.
The hell with this? Come on! Yeah. Only 5 rounds left and 3 men to kill. I'd say the odds are in my favor.
I only see one guy left standing down there. Are you seeing double vision or something?
I don't see the clip, but I know who it is. You're talking about Johnny Wall. I think you're talking about Johnny Wall. He's the bad guy in Gorda, but he was also the doctor or something in Black Earth. He was a replacement really quick. And he showed up and did his job. And after that, I was like, oh, we're going to film Gorda. I'm like, no, he's the bad guy. There's a second part to the Gorda. And he got killed in the end. And he was going to be, not to raise any eyebrows or anything, but he was going to be a gay brother that ruled the streets of Chicago. And they all go to Chicago and they have to run into him. And he's going to wear the same stuff, but it was all going to be like flares and stuff on him. And he was just like, I want to do this. I'm like, okay, cool. So he wrote the role, but we never did it. We never filmed it.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Now, talking about Atlanta, we spoke on the phone recently, and there was a near brush with the Atlanta Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Am I remembering that story right?
Yeah, they were talking about it was J.J. Garrison, John. He's from the El Caminos, and you had Mark McGee from the Anti-Heroes and Condemned 84, a UK band. And a lot of people, they were talking about they were doing Atlanta rock and roll history. And I got brought up in the conversation, and I was basically told by a guy named Steve Morello that I've been buddies with for years, sent a little private message going, they really want to put you in there. And I said, why? And I was like, why? What did I do? And he goes, do you not realize how many album covers and helping people just because you were trying to be nice? And I'm like, yeah, so. And then I was like, well, whatever, that's what we do. Sorry, something popped up on my screen. I had to get rid of that. It's Camille's computer.
It's got to be nice to feel the love from some old friends, from some of the work that you've done. It's like I was saying, you're very talented. You had a punk rock band. You've made films. You've got a number of different YouTube video series that have been produced, and we just love you. We miss you in the community. You've always been a huge help to a lot of the work that we've done, and a lot of the work that Max has done. I know you donated some cameras to him way back 5 years ago, and got him started on his YouTube channel.
5 years ago? That means I got 5 years older, doesn't it? Why'd you have to remind me? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, it's inevitable, right? We're all aging out.
I'll never get old. I'm Peter Pan. The only difference is my peanut butter doesn't taste as good.
That reminds me of the cooking show. I didn't pick any clips from. Oh, actually, no, wait. I do have a clip. I have an opening from Mayhem Kitchen that I do want to share with people. So let's just share that with the crowd real quick, and then we'll come back to you and get some comments about Mayhem Kitchen.
This episode of Mayhem Kitchen is brought to you by Charlie's Chips, Cowboy Crunch.
Crack open a bag of Cowboy Crunch. Smell the hot summer on the cattle ranch. Taste the sweet heat from the chuck wagon. If Lauren Green were alive, he'd put down the Alpo and grab some Cowboy Crunch. Also available in a tennis ball can. Charlie's Chips, Cowboy Crunch. It'll put some get up in your saddle.
Now back to the show.
Welcome to another edition of Mayhem Kitchen. And now I started Mayhem Kitchen a little bit after we used to feed folks for free on our dime. I was like, I would pay for it, you pay for it. We weren't asking for help from nobody. We were just trying to feed some people because we felt that way. So I started doing Mayhem Kitchen because I thought, well, maybe it could generate enough money to pay for, to be honest, that's what I did. I was hoping the Mayhem Kitchen thing could generate some money to help us pay for food for the homeless. But the thing with YouTube is you have to have like either 1,000 likes or 100 subscribers or something. So I never got there. I tried, but I kept cooking. But at the same time, I enjoyed cooking.
But then, nice, and you put quite a lot of films together. What I really liked and what we showed obviously was the intro to Mayhem Kitchen. I hope you weren't injured in the filming of that.
No, I was being stupid. I jumped into that tree. Is that the one you're talking about where I jumped into the tree? Because there's a different version of it too that I filmed in BC because I did a few episodes here, but I was just walking up and down wearing my chef's uniform and cutting it in and out with punk stuff. But I really like the other one where I'm like running around with a damn broom, acting like it's a horse, and then jumping head first into a tree because that's more of me. That's who I am. If you know me, it'd be like we sit outside and have a couple of beers or something. Next thing you know, James will jump in a tree. You don't give a shit.
I picked another little clip to share, and that's the deviled eggs episode, which I thought was kind of fun. Everyone likes deviled eggs. I think it would fit lovely with our potluck supper here tonight. And I hope you don't mind me sharing that clip. I just thought it was funny. I'm not laughing at you.
I can tell you a funny story about deviled eggs when we get done seeing that clip. Anyway, that's deviled eggs for you. See what it tastes like. I gotta do another try. ain't sure yet. Wait a minute. Oh, Mr. Warbington. All right. Thanks for walking me half people. No, they ain't gonna be here long. No, I remember me and my cousin Mark. I was down in Georgia. I went to see him and visit him. We went to a all-you-could-eat buffet, a Golden Corral. I'm sure people have heard of that. They don't have them here, but down there. And he comes up to me and goes, "Man, they just put out deviled eggs." I said, and he goes, "So they got deviled eggs?" I said, "Not anymore." And he looked at my plate. Half his plate was the deviled eggs, half of it, and my other half was the other half. And he goes, "They got deviled eggs." I was like, "Not anymore." And he looked down. And he goes, "Oh man, we're gonna stink up the house tonight." I'm like, "You damn right. If I ain't got to make deviled eggs, I will eat all of them. If I have to make deviled eggs, say we do 24, which would be a 12 pack. You half. There's only 10 getting to the table, because the rest of them I'm gonna eat them. It's a tester.
Easily, and that's the clip that I picked out, which I thought was kind of funny, and looked also delicious.
I love deviled eggs. I mean, I don't know why I like deviled eggs.
There's a lot of changes. Some things are staying the same. I just found out this week that Strathearn apartments were built 75 years ago, 1950. And I asked, I said, "Is there anything special to commemorate the 75th anniversary?" And the response was laughter plus tear it down. I was like, ooh, yikes. Don't like to hear about our apartments getting torn down. And as you know, the Ralph Strip Mall was torn down. I don't know if you've heard or if I've been able to tell you recently, but
tell me, Lee's.
Yes, we lost Lee's. So we're looking, or the owner of that building is hoping to find somebody who can lease the space, put in another corner store, because there's, as you know, there's a huge senior citizens complex right across from Lee's.
Street, yeah.
Yeah, we lost. And you remember that little store down in close to Bonnie Doon, who sponsored our Sizzler with some golf accessories. She had a little corner store and a little kitchen in there. That's gone now, and it's a daycare. So we're really struggling for convenience stores in the neighborhood.
I didn't know that one's gone. I mean, she was a very nice lady. She gave us this golf stuff for that Sizzler. She was really nice. Lee's not so much at times, but Ralph's, I mean, I've told you
they were golden.
Before.
And I feel like I should mention, sorry to interrupt you about Ralph's. I should mention to the folks here in the hall today about the Summer Sizzler. I think we brought it up twice, but just really quickly, what it was a party, it was a community event, and it was a chili cook-off, chili contest.
Yeah.
Chili cook contest?
I don't know. Chili cook carnival, as Eric Cartman would say on South Park.
It was pretty fun. It was a good way to bring people together around food and get to know the neighbors and stuff.
I think Strathearn was the thing that made me like Edmonton and made me want to be a Canadian. And I've been here for 10 years, and that was, I grew up listening to Rush. I grew up listening to, Kim Mitchell. I grew up listening to Anne Murray, believe it or not. Hey, congratulations on Anne Murray for getting her Juno Lifetime Achievement. She deserves it.
That was really nice. Did you happen to see the piece on the award? Did you watch the award?
Yeah, I watched Junos, because it was here in Vancouver. But we got it for free because it was here. Sometimes when it's somewhere else, you can't watch. But I watched it. Yeah,
it was real Canadiana. I was surprised to hear that she had 34 albums.
Yeah, I mean,
and the first woman to go gold in the United States.
Oh, I mean, when I was a kid, I had a Snowbird on 45. And that's not cool for an 8-year-old. You're supposed to have hardcore stuff. But I'm like, spread your tiny wings and fly away. It was like, come on, man. Her voice is like cutting. It's like a warm knife through butter.
Spread your tiny wings and fly away. And take the snow back with you wherever it came from on that day.
But I grew up listening to that stuff. So I think I was Canadian. I've been saying I'm sorry since I was a kid. I think I'm Canadian through and through with a Southern accent. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I wished I was there. I wish I could.
I invited Vicky over this morning if she wanted to hang out while we did this. But maybe you want to. She's here at the hall tonight if you want to send her a hello.
Hey, Vicky, what's up? Vicky's awesome. She makes the best soup you'd ever taste in your life. She is. And she's a sweetheart, and she'll show up when you least expect it to help. I never got accepted the way I get accepted until I came to Canada. I'm accepted with a Southern accent, and that's really cool. And people go, no, we don't give a shit about that. You're Canadian, Bubba. Let's go. And I'm like, that's cool, because when you show up in Wisconsin, I lived in Wisconsin. I live in New Hampshire. They were so racist against me. I say racist. I guess they just used to make fun of me all the time. So, oh, you're king of the hill. Mm-hmm. You're just an idiot. You know, you sell propane and propane accessories. And I'm like, no, I'm just from Georgia, man. I'm not from Texas. What the hell are you talking about? But I moved up here, and they're like, no, we don't. And I immediately thought that was what was going to happen, but that's not what happened. Especially in Strathearn. That's, like I said before, Strathearn's one of those places where I lived in Whitehorse, and Whitehorse was about the same as Edmonton. And people were nice to me, and that goes a long way. Goes a lot further than you think it does. So,
Indeed.
I do miss Strathearn. I do miss Edmonton. Me does too.
What was your favorite part about this Strathearn Park, our lovely little parkette close to the hall?
Well, it was kind of cool because we used to get to take our cat out because they would use the hockey rink in the summertime. It would melt, and you could let your animals run in there. And so because we live next door to it, I was able to take Lemmy over there, and our kitty cat, our little rescue bastard child, who's sitting right there right now. Oh, bastard. I love him to death. And just let him loose, and he got to run around and smell dog turds.
Nice. Yeah, lots of dog turds. Actually, they weren't able to put in any ice this last winter, so it remained a space for people to do dog runs all winter long.
Was it not cold enough, or they just didn't have the money? Or
I think there might not have been the people in place to manage the rink, and also I think somebody came and stole all the copper for the lights on the rink.
It's like, come on, man. I mean,
So I laugh. It's obviously not funny. You know, we're a struggling little community trying to keep things going, but it's great. You know, like I said, there's a lot of really great events, and we're really excited that to have been offered tonight to put on this event. And it was just a spur of the moment from last month. I think it was at pub night, and Pam and Andrew, they were saying, well, we got a Friday night next month, you know, do you want to do something? I'm like, sure, let's do a potluck. Let's do a podcast potluck.
Well, I mean, I think the last time we did the Summer Sizzler, I think your sister came out with the karaoke stuff. And nobody would sing. And so, no, don't do this to your viewers. I drank enough. I got drunk enough to go, hey, Camille, let's go sing. And we sang Islands in the Stream. I was singing.
You guys did a fabulous job. We're in our last minute, and actually my sister and my sister's sister, Corey, might also be here tonight from Loco Karaoke. So if you want to give a quick shout out to them.
They're awesome. They're great. Yeah, I gave them a bunch of karaoke stuff at one point, I think. And
nice.
No, they're all sweethearts.
Well, thank you, James. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us on the show, Podcast Potluck, episode number 1, live from Strathearn Hall on April 4th, 2025. Love you, brother.
I love you too, man. I hope everything goes great tonight. Just y'all think of me and just, have a little, have a little dance or something, or I don't know.
Oh, I didn't ask if you have time. Pick one song of yours that and then it cut out. So we were able to record that. On the Zoom, and because I'm not a paying member of Zoom, you get 40 minutes, so it kind of timed out. We had a little bit of testing stuff, and I was asking him at the end, James, can you pick one song that I could play? He's very humble, he's very shy, he doesn't really like to showcase his own music so much, so he said play or show Stranger by the El Caminos. And he talked about in that podcast about the potential of being inducted into the Atlanta Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and how one of the people down there was saying all the stuff that he did, helping with albums, doing album covers. So he designed this album cover, plus he produced this song for them. So just as a little interlude before we bring up our next live guest, here is the El Caminos, as produced by James Warbington, Stranger. Just be careful. Okay, that's Stranger by the El Caminos, as recommended by James T. Warbington. So welcome back to the show. We've got Patricia joining us. Thank you
Kelly.
for coming.
Thanks for having me here. Hello, everybody.
Patricia, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what you like to do besides that.
Okay, so I have a full plate of my life. I am a bud tender. I'm also an author, and I have adult young children, but 2 are still at home. So I'm kind of busy. And I like gardening. I do a lot of gardening. And Kelly invited me to come today because I also love community. You were getting us to write down something to share with you. And so I wrote this down, and I kind of went, oh, that's kind of a stupid thing. And then when you started the show, you said exactly what I wrote down on here. So I think maybe that's what we should talk about.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. So I wrote down community, dinner gatherings and why they're important, and how it plays out now, and how it plays out in the past, and how it plays out in the future. So when I first moved to Edmonton was in 1998. I moved here from Banff. I was in Banff. That's where I had my first child. I'm a mountain girl. I love the mountains. And so we moved here to Edmonton, and I wasn't happy about moving into a big city. But very quickly upon living in Edmonton, I became a single parent and lived in the Otwell community and learned about firsthand what community is really about. And it was amazing. I had never experienced it in my whole life. I'm from Ontario originally. And I mean, we went to church picnics, but I'm not into hanging out in religious organizations anymore. So it'd been a long time since I had been in a community and had shared with people and had potluck and bringing things together and really sharing as a community and raising children together. So we landed in the Otwell community, but it's close by to here. So we played you guys a lot in soccer teams, and yeah, it was always fun though. It was always good spirit, and I think the whole southeast. Are we still southeast? Like, what do they call us now?
Northwest. Are we northwest?
We're still southeast, hey?
Just because we're the southeast.
Yeah, and Edmonton's growing so much. I guess I should be looking here too.
That's fine.
Edmonton's growing so much that I don't even know like what area we're in anymore. Like southeast, northwest. Sometimes on your mail it's northwest. But anyhow, this whole area, all of these communities are just, they really empower families. I think they really empower families. So when I first said about going back to the past and the present and the future. So looking to the past, that's how communities used to survive. That's how, like, Kelly, you've got to be an Irish descent, Celtic.
Vicky?
Pardon me?
Are you guys Irish descent, immigration?
I'm 83% Eastern European.
Okay.
We were growing up saying we were German and Irish.
German and okay, so still that's Helvetic and Celtics.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of communities, and people had to survive just because of their communities.
Correct.
That's what kept people safe. And I think in a world that we live in here in the present, it's still the same thing. It's our communities that keep families together and help children. And there's a lot of single parents, and you know, we can't all afford things. We're having potluck, so everyone gets to eat something really nice, and we share. And why I say it's important for the future is there's a lot going on our planet right now. And there's a lot going on politically. A lot of people are scared, and a lot of people feel alone. And I think if everyone started to join their communities, building gardens and just villages raising adults and children. Everyone's scared, and I think communities are what's going to carry humanity forward.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said that better, and
Thank you.
That basically sums up why I want to do the thing. And I'm really glad that I asked you to come on the show, because you crystallized that. Is that the right word? You know what I mean.
We nailed it.
She nailed it. So thank you, Patricia, for coming on the show. And next time you're on, I hope you tell us a little bit about some of your writing.
I would love to talk about my writing because I'm not shameful about it. I have some books out there, and I'm an inspiring writer. I've actually graduated about 12 years ago from university, from professional writing, and I kind of took a little bit of a detour in my life as a single parent, because as anyone who's in the arts and creative, you have to have a day job to create stability, to raise your family. I had 3 kids. So I'm getting back at it. And it's, I can just go for it.
So where?
Strathearn Writers Circle.
That's really exciting to get into writing groups and to join things. I'm really excited to get back to that because, like I said, I've taken a detour and kind of done other things. So I'm looking forward to, I have a few books out. I'm actually on Blurb. Do any of you hear about Blurb? Blurb.com. Shout out to Blurb.
We're gonna put a link down in the show description. So when you find this on my YouTube channel, check out the show notes, and we'll leave a link for Patricia's Blurb books.
They're amazing. They're amazing printers because you can order your books. You only need to order one to be in their bookstore. You don't have to stockpile books. You don't have to invest a lot of money. You have to invest in one book, and that's the one that you order back for yourself, and then it goes into their bookstore, and people can buy it on their bookstore. So it helps a lot of people who are trying to get out there and get their name out there without having to spend a lot of money. And as a writer, I think a lot of us can agree that that's very beneficial.
So can you give us the titles, please?
My first book, it's called Amara. She's an oracle. I'm a mystic. So I created a book that's an oracle, and you use it. Stitchomancy. It's an ancient form of divination. I'll just say that. The second book that I have out there is called Church Street, Where Hope Grows. I had this premonition to go out onto Church Street in the inner city of Edmonton. And I took a photographer and I interviewed over 70 people, turned their stories into poetry and prose, and created a 403-page volume of, thank you, volume of poetry, prose, and photography. So yeah, it's, I'm really proud of it because of the people who stepped forward and volunteered their time and to allow us to use their time. That was going back, 9 years ago now, about since I did that. And I'm thinking after, through COVID, I'm sure a lot of them are gone now. So it'd be interesting to see. And just the history too, the history of all the churches and...
Church Street was in the Guinness Book of World Records. It had the most churches per one block.
Exactly.
In the world.
So audience member Andrew tells us that
you're next.
Church Street here in Edmonton. It's an actual street, 96th Street downtown.
Yes.
And tell us again, Andrew. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records for.
Well, I don't know if it still is. It was in the Guinness Book of World Records as having the most churches in a 2-block radius anywhere in the world.
That is amazing.
Yeah. And so my third book that I've done, do you want me to hold that? Or you...
Sure.
Okay, yeah. So the third book that I had created, oh yeah, you're looking at it.
Yeah, so people in the hall can see your book now as well.
Can you guys all see that? Yeah. Oh, I can't see behind me here. So let me tell you about this painting. This is really, really special to me. So I Human was an organization that was there to help kids that were street kids. And I went in there and I thought, damn, if I'm going to make this book, I would really like to have an artist do a cover, because one of my things is I like to have a painting of the cover of my books so that I can, better? I'd like to have a painting of the cover of my books. So this one here was done by an Aboriginal First Nations here of Edmonton. Her mother was one of the women who went missing. And so she became a street kid. And I told her I wanted something to mix spirituality with First Nations, and she came up with this painting for me. So I have this big painting of it, and it's the cover of the book. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Anyways.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, I saw it and I got excited, right?
I'm
Because
glad
it
we were able
reminds
to
me
bring
of
it up.
her. It reminds me of her. So I hope she's doing well. I hope she's living and doing well. Yeah.
That was excellent. Spur of the moment podcast potluck guest. Patricia, wait, it was on here. Travers. Patricia Travers.
There's an Irish name for you.
Local author, local bud tender, local potluck attendee, local community member, and former soccer mom, I think.
Yeah, all of it. Street hockey.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
We appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
And we're coming down close to the end of podcast potluck. I believe we're still going. Oh my goodness, we got one viewer live. That's super exciting. I knew I'd run into at least one technical issue while we're doing the podcast, and that is I didn't do proper maintenance on my memory card. So it went full and decided to cut out. So the viewer, you guys are lucky because you get to see the whole show, and the one person over here on Facebook gets to see the entire show to the end. Those people on my YouTube might not get to see the whole show. Unless I'm recording it here too. We'll see how it all unfolds. But is what it is. It is the Potluck podcast. We're gonna have one more guest come up in a moment, and while that guest gets ready, I've got the clip queued up from the Black Earth, which I talked about with James Warbington on his pre-recorded segment. I wonder if anybody caught the error that I made in talking to James, and we were talking about Anne Murray's award at the Junos. Did anyone catch my flub?
No.
I had mentioned that Anne Murray had 34 albums.
Yes.
And the actual number is
40-something.
32.
Oh, well, that was me by two.
So I did overestimate, but it was interesting that James had the same 45 of Snowbird, that Anne Murray was the first female artist, Canadian or American or otherwise, to go gold, sell 1 million copies in the United States with that song. And all us old timers here, the old Gen Xers and some boomers, we remember that song from way back.
Yeah, 64 was the end of the baby boomers.
I began Gen X.
So here's a quick little clip from The Black Earth, a James Warbington film.
He's right, son. We need to get as far away from here as possible. Contact the authorities.
Oh, no, I can't go anywhere until my cousins get here. I told them I would meet them right here.
Are you crazy? We have to get somewhere safe.
She's right. We can't wait to be killed here. Oh, wait. Who are your cousins?
I go toe to toe with a man twice my size, and look that son of a bitch right in the eyes. I say I love my dog, my girl, and Jesus Christ, but only one of us forgives all. If he decides he'd like to take it outside, you can bet your life I'll make sure it's obliged. And when he turns to go, I'll hit him from behind, and when he goes down, I'll start kicking his ball.
So old Holbrook done turned zombie.
No, I don't think so.
Why the hell did you hit him?
Because I don't like that son of a bitch.
You can't just go around hitting people, Hank. They gotta be zombies.
Casualties of war, Johnny. Casualties of war.
Casualties my ass.
You know, Johnny, at least we're not finding a bunch of Frankensteins.
So I don't know if my audio levels were that great here in the hall that you can understand what was going on there in the Black Earth. There's a zombie outbreak going on, and these guys are out to get themselves some zombies, and they stopped and they killed that guy, I guess. It looks like they really hit him in the head with a bat, and it turns out he wasn't a zombie. He just didn't like that guy, and that's what I did. It's pretty funny. It's like for a tiny little film. It's a 50-minute film, super low budget. It's quite entertaining. I encourage people, if they can, to check out Family Curse Films and Productions. They've got all of James' movies, all of his Mayhem Kitchen. We've got dozens and dozens and dozens of songs. He did a bunch of crazy little shorts. Do we have... oh, the kids are all gone, so I can play one of these real quick for you.
Buddha says, let that shit go, so I dive in my pants.
What? That was James. Oh.
What the fuck is a salamander doing in my brain?
So James, he's a talented guy. He's got a lot of different things going on his channel. I encourage people to check that out. I also wanted to talk a little bit about what he touched on and what Patricia touched on with regards to community. And James was talking about how at one point we were putting together some meals, and this was right at the beginning of the pandemic. And Vicky, you were helping out. Lucy, you were helping out with that. James was helping out, and we would all kind of get together just on our own dime, and we'd put together food, and then we'd go and give it away to people on the street.
Absolutely.
That was a lot of fun.
We did a lot.
Now we're gonna be bringing Vicky up onto the show as our final guest. So as she comes up, I just want to share with you all a couple of podcasts that some audience members provided. This one is called Let's Find Out. We take questions from curious Edmontonians about local history. Now that's not one of the ones. This is one. The Orchard Cast, Jeremy Appel. Looks like it might be something political, Andrew. Possibly? This is Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins Podcasts. Every episode is filled with motivation and tactics you need, plus deeply personal stories. Looks very interesting. Love Life with Matthew Hussey. How to Get the Guy podcast. You'll get practical tips you can use right away to improve all of your relationships, romantic, family, friends, career, and most importantly, the relationship you have with yourself. That looks very interesting. Thanks for offering those podcasts from the studio audience. And there was a couple more, but I won't feature them here. I possibly put them in the links of the show notes down below. Okay, so we're getting down near to the end of the show. Podcast Potluck, and our final guest is my lovely sister Vicky. Thanks for joining me.
Good evening.
What brings you on the show tonight, Vic?
I'm here for the Potluck Supper and podcast.
Tell me about the dish that you made.
I made a homemade coconut curry chicken stew with homemade dumplings.
And we got some applause. It must have tasted pretty good. I know I enjoyed it. Tell us a little bit about some of the other food that you saw on the table here.
Oh goodness, there was beautiful green onion cakes. There was a beautiful thyme rice with mushrooms, a sweet and sour dish with pineapple in it. That was delish. Roasted potatoes, which Kelly made. A lasagna, vegetable lasagna, and desserts. So many desserts, I haven't made it there yet because I'm still full. And homemade bread. A lady, a neighbor, brought homemade bread and butter. It was delish. I had the crust.
Yeah, that was really delicious. And maybe on another podcast, Potluck, we can actually bring some of the food in live on camera. We can have some sampling, maybe we can have some food preparation. We'll just sort of expand it out. Like I said, this is the inaugural episode, and maybe in the future we've got some other ideas to make it a better thing.
Well, again, you and James, when we had our chili cook-off here for the community, that was a really fun time, and that brought people out. And it really brought people in from the street that saw our signs and just walked in and had a bowl of chili from 10 different people that had tables. And then whoever won, they got a little trophy. So it was really, what a great community, experience. Absolutely. Being first to the neighborhood. Now I've lived in this community coming 6 years, August. And I do not want to leave this neighborhood. I don't. I love it. I love it!
Strathearn is definitely a favorite neighborhood. I've lived here a few times myself, and Obviously, the work that Pam's doing and Andrew and other folks, volunteers in the community with the hall, just putting on these events, it's absolutely amazing. And obviously, it couldn't happen without people participating.
Absolutely. We've been here for trivia night. We've been here for karaoke night. And a couple other fun, like over the years. It's just been so much fun. Absolutely. I cherish living here. And I don't want these buildings to be torn down.
May we be able to preserve our homes.
Absolutely.
That's yet to be seen. And we'll see, maybe we can organize around that, but that'll be another day to talk about. Meanwhile, I want to thank you guys very much for coming out, bringing out all this wonderful food, participating in the podcast, excellent guests, excellent food.
Yes. Oh, the food was fantastic. Desserts. Oh my goodness, Patricia made a peach and vanilla crumble and a cherry and what was that? Cinnamon. Or opposite, did I do? Oh, sorry, I was totally opposite there. But it was very good with whipped cream.
It was yummy. None of you guys get to try that because you didn't make it, but next time you might be able to make it. Those of you that are here, grab a container, maybe throw some of that food in a bag or in a container and take it with you.
Yes, and sandwiches, those good homemade sandwiches. That was like everything that was brought this evening was awesome and very well enjoyed by all who attended. We had 20 people here tonight. That's awesome.
That was very nice. Thank you guys for coming out. Thanks, Vicky. Give us a hug.
Thanks, brother. You did a really awesome job, little brother. This is my little brother.
Aw. Okay, you guys, we'll see you next time on podcast Potluck from Strathearn Hall. I'm Kelly, this is Vicky, and peace out.
Take care.